Great. So I think we should get going. Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Ilan Asbel. Welcome to the first webinar that I'm giving in this wonderful new year in 2016. I have been a little scarce over the last 2 months or so. I went on a family vacation over the Christmas and New Year period, and then I decided to go traveling around the world on some business initiatives that we're running at Autochartist. So I've been kind of a little bit out of touch for a while, so I apologize for that. We're here today to do an overview of Autochartist. This is not a webinar today about how to trade Autochartist strategy specifically, but rather about the general aspects of Autochartist, so you all can get a bit of an understanding about the product. Just to gauge who I'm talking to, I wonder if I can ask you all to answer a quick question for me, and that question is, which asset classes do you trade? If you could let me know if you trade Forex, futures, or stocks, then at least I know who I'm talking to as an audience, and I can. Okay. Wow, I think this is the first time ever we've seen something like this. 100% Forex. Oh no, there we go. It's going down. Okay, we're 100% for a moment. Then Forex. I almost fell off my chair. Okay, I see futures and stocks. Good. So people are diversifying a little bit. Okay, that's a good thing. Okay. Okay, and thank you for that. And then one more question I want to ask you, because it will influence one of my topics of conversation today, is do you use MetaTrader? So this is specifically, I guess, for Forex traders. Just trying to get if you're a stocks trader only and don't trade any Forex, please go ahead and push no. Okay. All right, so quite a lot of no's. I was going to briefly show the new MetaTrader plugin that we have. I'll do that if I have time. So I think there's a lot of people that don't use it. So I'll do that if I have time. Okay, good. Thank you very much for your answers. So that gives me an idea of what to focus on in this presentation. So I'll do mostly FX, and I'll do a bit of stocks and very little futures stuff. So when you log into the Autochartist web application, this is what it looks like, and we're seeing a lot of brokers that provide our service actually moving away from our web application and doing more integrations into their web platforms. But I use the web application for demonstration purposes because it covers all the major topics that I want to show. Right. So the first and most important section of Autochartist is the trading opportunity section, and this section specifically shows you what opportunities there are in the market. And Autochartist does this by identifying support and resistance levels in different shapes and forms. So we would do this by identifying chart patterns, Fibonacci patterns, and key levels, which are really horizontal levels. Okay, and now within each of those types of support and resistance levels that we identify, we also provide the ability to service both trend traders as well as swing traders. And let me show you what I mean by that. So I'll just untick some examples here. So here is an example of what we call a completed or breakout chart pattern. Okay, so here we can see that New Zealand dollar Japanese yen has broken through a resistance level, and then we provide a projection up to 77.42, and this happened on 15-minute data. Okay, now this needs to be contrasted with what we would call an emerging pattern, right? So let me enable the emerging patterns. And let me show an example of an emerging pattern. So this is an emerging pattern on GBPCAD. You can see that there's been no breakout yet through support or resistance, right? The price is still trading within a range, right? So these emerging patterns, if you just click these emerging patterns, these are more applicable to what we call swing traders, traders that are trading very short-term volatility of markets that are neither trending upwards nor trending downwards, but they're consolidating, right? So depending on how you perceive the current trend in the market to be, you could trade these emerging patterns or these breakout patterns, right? So Autochartist caters for both. Similarly, if you're looking at the horizontal support or resistance levels, here is an example. Let me choose something a little bit more popular. Okay, here is an example of CAD Swiss franc. You can see that Autochartist did a very good job of identifying this support and resistance level. It was a support over here, resistance, a breakout, then support again, and Autochartist believes that the price is potentially moving down to 0.7157 for CAD Swiss franc. But again, notice there's been no breakout, right? However, if we look at another example over here on USD Mexican peso, you can see that there has been a breakout, right? And so that is what we call a breakout pattern. That has is signified by a colored line, a colored arrow, sorry. So this is a red colored arrow. Here is an example of another breakout which happened at GBPUSD. There's a breakout through a support level, and we think it's going to 143.71. Okay. Now, so I've kind of shown you these three different types of patterns. I'm not going to go into Fibonacci right now because I'm not a Fibonacci specialist, so I kind of stay away from talking about things that I don't know much about. But anyway, you get the point that Autochartist provides you analysis in both trending and non-trending markets, right? So one of the most important things that I want to highlight to you is actually this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a pen and draw it here. This column over here, right? It's called age, right? And you can see that this opportunity that I've highlighted is actually 7 candles old, and you can see that quite clearly on the chart itself, where Autochartist, if I click on it, we'll zoom in. Autochartist has actually drawn some transparent candles after its forecast of what's actually happened subsequent to the forecast, right? So we forecast the price up to 143.71, where the green candle is. It went up a little bit, it moved down, corrected down a bit, and now recovered again. And it could possibly moving upwards again towards 143.71. But certainly this column is very important because it tells you how old this pattern actually is. Now, similarly, on the futures markets, here's the futures market, sorry, over here. For those of you who are trading futures, here's some opportunities on the E-mini, S&P 500. Autochartist has identified a resistance level, and I'm sure you agree with me that this is definitely a very well identified resistance level at just around 1,900. Which is interesting because also, round numbers, as I'm sure you all know, are interesting resistance levels, around numbers or resistance levels. So, you can see that Autochartist sees that the E-mini S&P 500 is actually turned and moving towards towards this resistance level of 1,900. And similarly, all the other opportunities exist here. E-mini, the Dow $5 E-mini has broken through a resistance level, and we think it's going up to just over 16,000. So that's an idea of how you can use it on the futures market and similarly on the stock market. What I want to show you now, let me go back to the Forex market. In fact, what I'll do is I'll choose my Forex Majors section so that I can show you something else, right? So here we go. So now imagine you are seeing this trading opportunity on GBPUSD and you want to trade it. Now, what I'm about to show you is applicable not only for Autochartist, but for any trading strategy that you may have, right? So if I am if I'm looking to trade GBP USD right now, obviously the first question is, you know, which direction am I going to trade it, right? So that's obviously the first question you have to ask. The second question you got to ask is, where am I going to set my stop loss and take profit, right? So, and in fact, many traders believe that the second question about setting stop losses and take profits is sometimes more important than than the first question of which direction. So, if you click on this volatility analysis section, Autochartist provides you the expected volatility for the next 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hours, and 24 hours, right? So if you are trading GBPUSD right now, all right, and you don't want to hold your position for less than an hour, right? So that means you don't want to get stopped out of the market. You kind of want to hold it for half a day or so. Then you shouldn't be setting your stops and limits anywhere between 143.05 and 143.65. In fact, if you want to hold it for more than 4 hours, you shouldn't be setting your stop loss between 142.82 and 143.88. Right? Again, this volatility analysis is non-directional, right? So it's not telling you which way it's going, right? The current price, if you can imagine, is like in the middle of this little trumpet, as we call it, but certainly independent of which way you're going to go, whether you're going long or short, this volatility analysis is very important because it tells you where, or gives you an indication of where to set your stop losses and take profits according to the market volatility. And let me show you what I mean. So my Autochartist is set to America Chicago time, right? Because I'm in US Central. And what I'm showing you now is another graph which shows the volatility of pound dollar for every hour of the day. So you can see quite clearly, and let me highlight that with a pen, you can see quite clearly that the most volatile times of day are between kind of 2 a.m. My time, US Central time, and 10 a.m. US Central time, with peaks over here and over here, right, which happen to be the open of London and the open of New York. Okay, so now you can see quite clearly that if you're trading the European session, right, then you know, and you can expect a price movement of around 35 to 40 pips on GBPUSD in 1 hour. So if you're trading GBPUSD, the question is, should you be setting a 10 pip stop loss or a 20 pip stop loss? The answer is, sure, you can do that, but then just know that you're going to get stopped out of the market within a matter of a few minutes, and it won't be because you made the right prediction or the wrong prediction. It'll just be pure luck and market noise that knocks you out, right? So it's important to look at this market volatility, these graphs and the volatility, to understand how to set what we call market appropriate stop losses and take profit levels. Okay, if you're trading out of those hours, right, during the end of the US session or the Asian session, then of course you can set much lower stop or much tighter stops and take profits on your positions. Okay. So let me erase these drawing objects over here. And close this up, right? So what we try to do then at Autochartist is we try to provide you just a summary of trading opportunities based on support and resistance levels, as well as information about market appropriate stop losses and take profits. Of course, now I've switched to a screen called performance statistics, and we do, of course, keep track of how good our forecasts actually are, right? So if we're looking at the Forex market in terms of chart patterns, this is a rolling 6-month stats page, right? So every 2 weeks, I think it is, we recalculate the statistics. Over the last 6 months, we've identified 19,000 opportunities, of which 13,000 hit their target region, 66% on average. What this means is this doesn't mean that this is not an indication of the returns you are going to make using Autochartist. This is simply an idea of how many of our forecasts hit their target region, right? Okay, so think about that. This is not, the statistic does not include things like any kind of specific stop loss strategy, right, or take profit strategy. This is simply saying we identified, let's say, a head and shoulders. Did it hit our target region? Yes or no? That's the only thing we're measuring, right? And really, this overall statistic in my mind is pretty useless. I discount it, and in fact, that's why I told the staff to make it a small font, because I like to focus on the details, which is far more important to me, right? So, for example, head and shoulder patterns and inverse head and shoulder patterns are really, really star performers, and they always have been. You can see that over the last 6 months, double tops have been really good performers, right? Channel ups have been really good performers. Channel downs have been really good performers. Pennant is always just an absolutely terrible performer. I'm not sure why. Poor pennant. Okay. Also, look at the symbol, right? So what we can see is the symbols that have been doing well or badly over the last 6 months. And probably one of the strongest indicators is the hour of the day. You can see that during, this is again US time, right? So during the hours of London, during the London hours, technical chart patterns seem to have a far greater effectiveness than during the end of the US session, right, or the Asian session, right? So if you all are trading the UK session or the European session, or can get the early morning of or the late afternoon of the European session, certainly that's giving yourself the most chance of success if you're using technical chart patterns to do your trading. Now, those were the statistics for chart patterns. Of course, we have other statistics for key levels, different approaches, and breakout key levels. Just to briefly show you, the stats on the approaching key levels are much higher, around 79%. But remember what I said, approaches are these very short-term movements. So you have to be watching the market all the time in order to take advantage of excuse me, I was distracted there for a moment trying to keep track of the questions. We're trying to, you really have to watch the market to keep track of what is, the opportunities as they're actually coming up on your screen, very, very short-term opportunities. Okay, so now, you're wondering, what are we doing with these performance stats? Do I need to print them out? And I used to say, yes, what you need to do is you need to go into these performance stats, actually make a printout and have them next to you. But what the smart guys at Autochartist did is they created this new section which we call Our Favorites. And Our Favorites basically combines the trading opportunities together with the performance statistics, right? So again, I need to give a disclaimer that past performance might not be indicative of future performance, but these opportunities here are the ones Chartist believes are most likely to hit their target region with respect to the last 6 months worth of performance, right? So if I'm a Forex trader and I click, I want to see opportunities with a 70% or more chance of hitting a target region, here they are, right here, 70% or more probability of hitting the target region. If I'm a trader if I'm trading US equities, one opportunity. Let's see what happens if I change that to 60%. Okay, 60% or more opportunity, chance of hitting the target region. I should get a whole bunch more opportunities over here for myself. If I'm a futures trader, again, what are the opportunities on the market for me right now? 60% or more, 65% or more, 70% or more. These are the opportunities I'm looking at right now. Again, past performance might not be indicative of future performance, but certainly these stats take into account the last 6-month rolling window of what has actually performed in the market. Okay, good. So, so with that being said, of course, we do provide some other tools which are less real-time type of tools. So if you want to just get an overview of what's happening on a technical level on the markets, you can just subscribe to our Forex report under the Messaging and Alerts tab, and you'll get an email every morning in your language that tells you what the high impact economic events are that are coming up, the market movers for the last 24 hours, as well as some longer term trading opportunities. Okay, and you can get those in your inbox every day. What I really like is these what we call correlating signals. Correlating signals are basically notifications that Autochartist sends to you in your email of when technical chart patterns and horizontal levels say the same thing about an instrument. So you can chart is currently forecasting USD CAD. So basically the Canadian dollar to strengthen against the US dollar of about 34 pips. And it does this because there's been a triangle, a pennant, and a support level, all pointing to this, pointing downwards, right, towards the same direction. Right? So these correlating signals only happen, once a week or twice a week at most, but they're what we found to be of a lot of value to traders. Certainly, I'm sure you all know that this is, the more kind of correlating indicators you have in the same direction, the more you would, the more you should look at, pay attention. Should I say, pay attention to that opportunity. Okay, I'm already going on to 23 minutes. What I want to quickly do is show you the MetaTrader plugin, our new MetaTrader plugin. If you are not a MetaTrader user, well, don't close your ears. I want to show you one more thing after this, but let me quickly show you the MetaTrader plugin. Okay, I have a MetaTrader sitting in the background here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove Autochartist from it. You all may remember that Autochartist used to be an indicator within MetaTrader, but there was a lot of technical problems with it because you had to enable DLLs, and also you wouldn't get the scanning features. One would always need to use the web application to get the scanning feature. However, again, the smart developers at Autochartist have rewritten it as an expert advisor. And what you do is you drag and drop Autochartist onto your screen, onto your chart. There's no need to enable anything. You just drag and drop it. And within a few seconds, Autochartist is going to show you all the available opportunities in the market. Okay, so as you can see, there's this little window that comes up. Here it is, and I'm moving it around right now. There it is, okay. That shows you the same information that the Autochartist web application shows you, okay, just in a more compact way. So if we want to look at this CAD Swiss franc M15 opportunity, we would click it, and it's going to come up now. Right, so here it is. The chart has changed to CAD Swiss franc 15-minute, and in just a few seconds, here's the opportunity that's come up, and we can see Autochartist just 2 candles ago has forecasted up to 0.7260, and it's actually moved there. And let's see what happens if it carries on. You also get the same pattern details if you want them for all you technical technical traders. If you want more information about the actual pattern details, they are here. The forecast region is here at the top in gray, and also if you notice these lines, right, they actually provide that volatility analysis I was talking about, right? So let me actually choose something with a bit less clutter. Let's look at this USD CAD opportunity. I want to show you what I mean about using this volatility analysis, because inside a trading screen it really comes alive. Right, so so it looks like we've already hit our target region over here, but we're just going to zoom in. Sorry, everybody, I'm just zooming in. Okay, so if you had to take this trading opportunity right now, you can see where we forecast the next hour's volatility and 4-hour and daily volatility to be, right? So let's say if you were going short on this opportunity now and you wanted to hold your position for only another 4 hours, you would set your take profit to 139.43 and your stop loss at 14030 or 14048, right? So again, kind of comes alive and shows you how this volatility analysis actually plays out in the market. But certainly we made the right call an hour ago on AUD CAD. Looks like it's just Canadian dollar is really strengthening a lot. Okay, good. Okay, so with that being said, let me quickly switch back to the Autochartist web application and click on the trading community section. So what I want to show you here is we have a whole array of videos that you can watch in the trading community section. And in fact, if you go to our YouTube channel, it's youtube.com/Autochartist. Then you can see we've got webinars there, all these educational videos. We've got lots of different channels. It's a really good resource for you to use. All right. So with that, let me end my presentation and just try to answer a few questions here. If you are okay, so I've got something here from Jim. If you are a futures day trader, which trade opportunities and age are best? Jim, so you're asking me the $1,000,000 question, right? Jim, as you can imagine, from a compliance perspective, I can't kind of tell you what to trade. It's really up to you as the trader to figure out what you want to trade. Certainly, when I trade, I can tell you from my personal experience, I always wait for confirmation of a breakout when it happens. So that's the first thing I must tell you, that I never trade an opportunity as soon as it comes out. I always wait for some kind of confirmation. My confirmation normally is when a 34 candle moving average is pointing in the same direction as the breakout. That's something I enjoy trading. I found that the performance, my probability of performance increases dramatically. So that's what I do firstly, and that I think that's applicable for not only futures, but also for anyone who's trading breakout type of strategies, using Autochartist or manual identification of breakout strategies. So you might want to look at age 0 or age 1, but the most important thing is look for confirmations. Frederick has asked a broker-specific question. Now, Frederick, I am in this presentation. I cannot give any broker names. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask my staff to answer that question for you. Now, Christoph has asked a question about the Our Favorite section. It's a very interesting question, actually. Christoph asks, our favorite section, is it only available for 60 minutes or higher? Actually, Christoph, we don't limit it for 60 minutes or higher. We scan down to 15-minute opportunities. However, we find that the 60-minute, 4-hour, and daily opportunities are far more likely to hit their target region, and so they are the ones that seem to arise or get notified about in the Our Favorites section. So if you know, if you read about the theory of chart patterns and support and resistance, you will read that it is the liquidity and volatility is very important for chart patterns. And because chart patterns are based on market psychology, right? And so can you really play out market psychology in 15 minutes? Some people argue yes, some people argue no. But certainly we have empirical evidence that the longer term patterns and the patterns made of larger time intervals, like 60-minute, 4 hours, and daily, do seem to perform much better. And so that's why they are highlighted in the Our Favorites section. Bengt, I'm not sure if I've pronounced your name correctly. I'm sorry if I've mispronounced it. or Baint. Pattern, everything is available in MT4. Everything that you see on the web application is available on MT4. Even the email subscription service is available on MT4. If you have specific questions, you can actually, what I'll do is I will put in the support address. I'm sending the support address to everyone. If you want to get the latest MT4 download, just email our support desk and we will send you the latest MT4 download. In fact, what I can do is actually bring it up for you right now. Oh, I don't seem to have it. Okay, Yvette, could you, I'm not sure why I don't have it in my trading history. Yvette or Errol, could you send me the link to the MetaTrader plugin that we have? Then I can just send it to everybody, if you can chat it to everybody in this presentation. So another question from Suthakaran. I hope I've pronounced that again correctly. Suthakaran, how do you get Autochartist? Just go to autochartist.com, register, and you get it. If you have an account with one of the brokers, one of our partner brokers, then Autochartist is free for you. So Jack has asked, how do you go to direct? You literally just type direct.autochartist.com and you'll be prompted for a username or a password. Veronica, yes, I think a recording of this webinar will be available online tomorrow. Okay, it's I think Jan, or is it Yan or Jan? I'm not sure about, again, the name. I'm sorry, everyone. Everyone's names are differently pronounced differently. I don't mean to insult anyone. If you want our favorites and the broker doesn't offer it, you know, obviously, you know, us as a business, we have different levels of service for different customers, and so, you know, maybe your broker doesn't provide our favorites, which is our premium service. So, you know, obviously, if you want them to offer it, then please do prompt them. Ask them, look, I see Autochartist has a section called Our Favorites. Would you consider subscribing to that service? Otherwise, register on our website, and there are other options of getting that service. But if you register on our website, you can get a free trial and actually see if you like that service. Shailesh, I think it is. Shailesh, yes, there is a user manual for Autochartist. In the so let me give you a few things. So firstly, here is a link to the new MetaTrader platform download, and in terms of a user manual, there is, of course, a reference guide. If I can ask Yvette or Errol to send me the link to the user guide, but it is obviously available in the over here it is. Let me just get it for you. I will send it to you. Oops. So give me a second. Send to all. Okay, so there is a user guide, a link to the user manual for Autochartist. Okay. So Shailesh, yes, if you want to get the MT4 platform, the plugin into the MT4 platform, just go to this link I'm sending you right now, and you can download it there from that link, and it'll install it inside your MetaTrader. And if you have any problems, please email support. So now Suthakaran has asked if Autochartist costs anything. Autochartist does not cost anything if your broker provides it. If your broker doesn't provide it, there are some, because we don't sell directly, there are some brokers that to whom you can pay, or some companies to whom you can pay, and they will give you access to Autochartist. If you email support@autochartist.com, we can direct you to those companies. However, I must point out that if your broker doesn't support it, you're not with any of the major brokers around the world. Autochartist is provided by about 120 brokers around the world, and if your broker doesn't offer it, maybe you should reconsider your choice of broker, or ask your broker to ask them why they don't offer it. So yeah. Michael, this is one last question, guys. I'm way over my limit. Michael, your broker does offer it, yes. I cannot give you the name over this, but yes, it does offer it. Jim, that trading platform does not support it. You have to use it through the web application. Okay, so Osama, I'm way over my limit. Now, Osama has asked an interesting question about the more information about the subcategories and the pattern details. Now, Osama, what I think you should do is watch some of these introductory videos, especially the ones about chart patterns. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to have another webinar following this one, which deals more about the details, about the quality and specific details about Autochartist. Today's webinar was just about an overview. So I think you're asking a very technical question, and I think we'll have to leave that for another time because I am already way over my time. My webinars are mostly 30 minutes. So yeah. And the last question, Suthakaran, yes, you can get Autochartist alerts to your mobile phone. If you have an Android or an iPhone or Android, look up Autochartist, and you can download the mobile application onto your phone and get alerted to all the trading opportunities directly on your phone. And with that, I have to say goodbye, everyone. I appreciate, as I said, I apologize up front. Today was a very large webinar, and I apologize if I didn't get to your question. I'm hoping my support staff in Yvette and Errol have managed to answer some of the questions that I didn't get to. I know there were a lot of them that I didn't get to. I appreciate your understanding, and hopefully I will see you again in the next webinar where we can talk more about trading strategies and other indicators to use that in conjunction with Autochartist. Bye everyone, have a nice